Hey YouTube, this is John coming to you today with a little camera overview of the Sony RX100. This is one of my favorite little cameras to carry around and shoot stock video with. And there are a few reasons why that I'll go over with you. I'm not going to go over all the bells and whistles of this camera. You can find those kind of YouTube videos all over the place. I'm going to talk to you about real world usage with this camera and what it has done for me. First off, one of the nice things about this is you can flip the screen up so you can see yourself if you're shooting a vlog like this one, if you're out somewhere. And I have certainly used this little flip up screen to film myself, and many times shooting for just the audio. It doesn't have an audio plug-in for an external mic, but the onboard mic for vlogging purposes seems to do pretty well. And yes, I do recommend a screen protector. The Sony screens seem to scratch up really easily. Another feature that I really love that for the life of me, I have no idea why all camera manufacturers don't put this in their cameras. Why it's in this one and not some of the other cameras, especially the higher end Sony line, I have no clue. And that is the internal ND filter. It's I shoot an S-Log, a custom S-Log profile. And that's at 1600 on this little camera, so the ISO is pretty high. And I turn on the ND filter and overexpose by about 2 stops, and I get great footage in the middle of the day off of this camera because of the built-in ND filter. And that is a huge time saver when I just want to run and grab a shot. So that's one of my other favorite features of this. It also shoots in amazingly 4K footage. It looks really, really crisp. It shoots in 1080, 120 frames a second for great slow motion. And as far as the other regular frame rates that you would expect the camera to shoot in. And like I said, it shoots in S-Log, and I have some other custom profiles that I use on this camera. The battery life is short, but frankly, friends, I mean, really, this is the battery. I mean, if you can't carry an extra one of these around, then you need to be finding another hobby, because this is just tiny. And so I have a couple batteries I carry around. I also use this on my gimbal and on my Zhiyun crane. And what's nice is, you know, it has a little bit of a zoom to it, so you can zoom in and zoom out, and it doesn't really affect the weight on the crane at all, so you can reframe your shot to however what you need. And this nice screen flips up, so as you're using your crane you can see as you're moving your shot, and which I find very useful. Also, the picture quality out of this little camera is also very good, and it shoots an amazing like 24 frames a second. And yes, I have gotten raw video via the frames per second. That's in RAW, and you can get a 5-second stock clip shooting RAW, which is really quite amazing and quite powerful in and of itself. So the image quality is really why I bought this thing. The image quality is far and above anything else that I use. I mean, it'll blow an iPhone away. It'll blow a lot of other cameras away. The only thing you're giving up really is low light, and I have actually found that to be decent for this size of camera, surprisingly well. And shallow depth of field. If you move in close to your subject, you can still get a decent shallow depth of field, but it's not a full frame. And for stock purposes, that's not necessarily what you need for every single shot. So no, I wouldn't take this for a major artsy type shoot scene, but to get city footage, establishing shots, action shots of your kids running around, it's great for that. Another reason why I bought this is the autofocus is really, really good. So that's important to me when I put it on a gimbal. I don't want to mess around thinking where my focus is. I just want to get a good shot and focus on my movement and make sure everything looks good. And the autofocus on this does a fantastic job on a gimbal. And this on a gimbal, you don't get tired using it. And it's fantastic to run around with half a day. And it really keeps you going. In the video below, I'll link, I got a couple videos on here I shot with this little camera. One was in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and another of Greenville, South Carolina, that I used this on the gimbal. So I'll link to the videos of those below, and that is using this camera solely for both of those videos. Oh, except for the water shots in the water park, I used my Olympus water camera. But other than that, everything is done with this camera. So I hope you find this useful, again, for stock video production or for B-roll that you need to get B-roll of an event. I highly recommend this little camera. Also, no one pays attention to me when I pull a camera this size out. And that is good for me because a lot of times I want to shoot in locations where someone might chase me around. But using this camera, I've never had anyone question or even look at me. Even when it's on a gimbal, no one seems to care. And for me, that's a big benefit, especially when I'm shooting in a big city, and don't want to be a target carrying around a big DSLR or carrying around the Canon that I'm shooting on right now. So that's another reason why. And this really does fit in my jeans pocket. Yeah, it sticks out a little bit, but it's really not that uncomfortable. So I hope you enjoy that. Like I said, I'll link to some links below of some footage I've shot with it. You can find a lot more interviews on YouTube about this camera and how other people enjoy it. But that's my take on it, and I hope you enjoyed this. I don't have any affiliate links right now. I'm just starting my YouTube channel, but you can find this on Amazon, B&H, and hope you take the time to consider this, especially if you're looking into getting into shooting some serious B-roll or just need a small camera to travel with. Highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.